Hey guys, thank you so much for coming to my video podcast today. My name is Denitza Rave. I am your credit, tax, and financial coach. I'm just going to go ahead and give it another minute to see if anybody else logs on from the multiple streaming areas from that I'm streaming to via my streaming software called Restream. Restream is pretty cool because it allows me to stream to so many different social media platforms, including my own website, whenever we go live. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it another minute before we get into the video podcast on updates to medical collections and your credit. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, I had to turn my volume off on my phone. Um, Sometimes you may see me looking down at my phone. That is because I am checking my other social media sites to see if there are any questions popping up or comments from viewers. So, hopefully, I can get through this video podcast today without interruptions. My family, three-fifths of my family have the coronavirus. Yay. So if you hear coughing or what have you in the background, I do apologize. It's just something that I cannot help at this time. But I wanted to go live because this is definitely an important update that affects everybody and I wanted to make sure everybody knows about it. Not everybody follows the news or keeps up with the news, especially when it's something as boring. Well, not boring to me, but boring to many people as credit. Okay. Just a little bit about me, like I always do when I open up with my video podcast. I'm Denise Sarave. I have been in the accounting field for and financial field as well for the last 16 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I own my own business, Ray Financial Services. I am a financial coach. I am a tax professional, and I am also a credit coach. Okay, so um, I have been doing this I've had my own business, I should say, since 2010 when I was laid off from my financial counseling job at a huge global for-profit private university. I was there for 8 years in this doing the student loans. So I am very well versed in the student loan industry as well. So once I got laid off, it was right after I had my second child. I decided, after lots of things happened, my husband lost his job as well, credit got messed up and all this. I needed some sort of income coming in to help us along. So my father-in-law introduced me into the wonderful world of taxes. I thought it was going to be a snooze fest. Come to find out, I had a knack for it. I loved it. And since he passed away several years ago now, I took over the business and I have grown it to what it is today. And I've also added, as you can see, in addition to the tax services, business tax services, resolution, I've also added credit and financial coaching throughout the years. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop them in the comment section. If you're shy and you don't want to post your question publicly, then there is a private chat option that you can choose, and you can go ahead and ask your question in private, and I can go ahead and answer you anonymously, but for everybody else that's on the live stream to hear. Okay. So, credit scores may happen, boosting maybe may happen today. Okay. Lots of good things are happening. You're going to see me looking down and reading from my paperwork because this is very, very important. And I want to make sure I hit all my points and I don't miss anything. Okay. Because this is very important. This is like big news in like the medical collections and credit world. Uh, because it's definitely something that, that I don't think I've ever seen happen. So, in prior video casts, I have talked about how the federal government is going to start trying to combat these crazy medical bills that the American people are suffering from, right? I haven't gone into too much detail on it, but I have discussed it, and touched the surface in prior videos. Now I have more concrete information for everybody, so I'm going to go ahead and go over all of it now as much as I have knowledge about at this time, because everything is just unfolding now. So, beginning on Friday, which was yesterday, since today is Saturday, the three credit bureaus, which are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, okay, are overhauling medical debts and how they affect your credit. Yep, it's starting to happen. So this is definitely a win for us Americans that are just strapped with insane medical debt. So it's definitely a win. So by removing automatically a significant portion of medical debt on your credit reports, okay, if you have any on there. So this is going to be in the tens of millions for Americans, which is amazing, which is definitely a step in the right direction. First announced back in March of 2022, thanks to pressure from the CFPB, which is the Consumer Federal Protection Bureau, so the federal government. The changes have begun to happen on Friday, yesterday, with more changes that's being slated for over the next year. Okay. So if you have paid medical debt, okay, and you paid it in full, it should no longer be hanging around on your credit report. Yep. Historically, even if you or a consumer did pay their hospital bill or their doctor bill in full, it would still stay on your credit and haunt you for like ever, or until the statute of limitations tells it, that the credit bureaus that it has to fall off. But even then, the paid debt, it would still show on your report even after that, which is a no-no. But that's where us credit, coaches come into play to help our clients with, our services for to help to try to get these removed, since they should be removed, or offer our DIY services, which I offer. So collection trade lines, as they're known, are never looked at favorably, and we definitely all know that, right? So the paid should definitely be off your be getting off your credit. Okay. If it hasn't happened already, watch your credit report and make sure it does. Okay. That's very important as long as it's paid in full. Okay. So we're still waiting on clarity if the credit bureaus will do just an immediate purge of all medical debt or if the process will just start beginning as of Friday. Okay. So that's still a little cloudy, a little murky. According to money.com, when TransUnion and the CDTA, which is the Consumer Data Industry Association, which is a lobbying group that represents the three credit bureaus, they were yet able to clarify that. Okay, so again, they don't know if it's going to be an immediate purge, just purge in the system, or if it's going to just start gradually and going from there. Okay, so we're still kind of waiting on that. Another change in effect is unpaid medical bills, and I'm sure most of you are wondering about that. Unpaid medical bills sent to collection will not, this is awesome, will not post to your credit report for an entire full year. So 365 days, 12 months, okay? And that is an increase from 6 months. Okay. So prior to this, after 6 months, your credit would be affected by medical collections. Okay. It would show up on your credit report 6 months after. So they are upping that to 12 months. Okay. So they're giving you an extra 6 months. Um, the increase will allow consumers more time to negotiate their medical bills before it begins to affect the credit. I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe you can comment below and let me know your thoughts, but honestly, I think that's awesome. I think it is so amazing because, especially if it's a huge medical bill, a lot of people may need more than 6 months to be able to pay it in full. So, definitely doing the 1 year is a huge leap in the right direction, in my opinion, before it affects your credit. So, in the first half of 2023, okay, the three bureaus, so again, they're TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they're going to stop, listen, they're going to stop including medical collection debt of $500 or less. Okay. And that may increase later. Right now, it's just at $500 or less per the CFPB. So remember, that's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Most medical debt or trade lines are less than $500. Okay. So this is going to boost millions of Americans. So it'll definitely boost their credit. Okay. I think that is really good. It's not going to hurt your credit at all. Okay. So, all these changes will bar 70% of all medical collection debt from appearing on a credit report, which is what they estimate. Okay. That would actually account for 60 billion, yes, billion dollars of debt. Okay. So, should medical debts affect a credit report? What do you guys think? Do you think medical debt should collect a credit should affect, not collect, should affect a credit report? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. Um, but here's what the CFPB says, okay? So they're determining whether unpaid medical billing data should be shown on a person's credit report. So we'll see, okay? Under the director, I hope I'm probably going to say the name wrong, Rohit Chopra's leadership, the CFPB has always been highly critical of how medical debt affects credit. So Mr. Chopra states, in many ways, it's hard to call medical debt real debt. Okay. He also went on to say, and I've always felt this way, few people choose to take on medical debt, and typically, patients have no idea how much they're going to be charged for a service or a procedure. I've always thought that myself. So I definitely agree with Mr. Chopra on that. because these people, these hospitals, these doctors, they can lay it out in their plans and say estimates, but no one really knows how much that procedure or x-ray or cat scan or visit, unless obviously it's a copay, will actually, you'll actually be charged. Somebody may go in for like a routine surgery. Maybe their medical insurance says, okay, well, it's going to cost about $2,500. And then suddenly they get a bill for $4 or $5,000. Okay. So medical debts, they're tricky. They really are, because no one can ever give you a concrete answer on how much it will actually cost. They usually give you an estimate. Okay, so what do you guys think? Put your respectful comments below, okay? So, sorry, my throat gets dry. So, according to the report, medical debt is now the most common collected debt that appears on credit reports. Isn't that crazy? It's not really credit cards, not really loans, but it's medical debt. That is how far gone everything is and how expensive it is. And those debt collectors hound Americans mercilessly, right, over those unpaid medical debts. And they are brutal. In my past experience, they hounded me, more than my credit card or card people um have ever hounded me. These medical debt collectors are absolutely horrible. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but when we years and years and years and years ago, when we lost our jobs and we had to file for bankruptcy and all this other stuff, they're merciless, man. They were worse than our student loan uh collectors. So anyway, so coercive credit reporting forces patients and their families to pay bills whose accuracy they doubt, just like how I was talking about. And for those who refuse to pay a bill whose accuracy they question, they can find their credit ruined and prospects for unemployment and housing greatly diminished. Because remember, when you look for a job, that's why they do a background check and they do a credit check as well, especially if you're going somewhere like in the financial field. They want to look at that. Okay. So it's pretty sad how medical debts can hurt people so bad. So the agency estimates $88 billion of medical debt appears on credit reports of at least 43 million Americans at this time. And these numbers that I just read to you, according to money.com, because that's where I got it from, those numbers only represent a fraction, okay, of all medical debt and debtors. That's crazy. And, working in the credit field like I am, every single client I work with, they have some sort of medical debt, medical collections on their credit report. So it's definitely, accurate. However, according to the nonprofit Kaiser Family Foundation, they actually calculate it to be more like 195 billion with the B, and they say that's actually a pretty conservative estimate. Okay. So, yeah. So, what I always do is I always figure, the number that they give, tack on a couple more thousand or a couple more million to that, and you'll get closer to the right amount. Um, so, remember though, okay, just because that $500 or less medical debt will not hit your account or your credit report, that's not absolving you from the debt. Okay, that's two totally different things. It's not absolving you. You still owe it. It'll still be on record somewhere in the hospital or whatever. So you will still owe it. It's not going to make you not owe that $500 or less debt anymore. Okay. So definitely please be mindful of that. You should still pay your medical bills. Don't just let them slide off into nowhere. You definitely want to pay them on time and to the best of your ability. Okay. The only difference now is that your medical debt has a smaller chance of affecting your credit and your financial future. Okay. So again, you're not being absolved. It's just going to help out a little bit or a lot, really. Because of an entirely different measure called the No Surprises Act that went into effect this past January, so January 2022, you will now have additional tools to fight unexpected medical bills. Okay? So new federal law does not ban all surprise bills outright, but should meaningfully limit them as well as arm you with new disputing rights for incorrect or out of the blue medical charges. Okay, so that's very helpful as well. In the next several days, they're going to be, I highly suggest that you begin reviewing your credit report. Okay. Um, you can use my partner link, and I'm going to go ahead and link it in the comments below with Smart Credit. What that gives you is it gives you access to both your credit report and your credit score for only $1. So it's very minimal. Yes, you can definitely get your credit report for free um, from, myfico.com or the credit bureaus themselves. But since you're going to pull your credit, you might as well take a gander, take a look at your credit score as well. And normally, credit bureaus charge a lot more for the credit score because that's never free. They don't ever, I don't think I've ever seen them give you your credit score for free. There's always a charge for that. That's how they make their money. But they do give you your credit report for free because that's federal law. Okay. So anyway, so if you want to try it, it's only $1 and you get 7 days of credit monitoring. That will give you enough time to print your credit report and to print your credit score. And I say print because you definitely want to download that. You don't want to just look at it and think it's going to be saved, even if you order it from like a bureau. No, you always have to download it or print it. Okay. Um, So I will go ahead and link that down below. And then you can always cancel. Okay. You have that 7 day window to cancel. So you can cancel on or before that seventh day, and you will not be charged any credit monitoring fees at all. Okay. Remember, if you find medical debt collection that you paid off is still showing up, you can definitely dispute that information and the credit bureaus will investigate. They do have 30 days to complete their investigation. Okay. If they don't do this, if they fail to do it, which is common and which is often, um, they do it with by sending like their little annoying stall tactic letters. Um, then you can definitely file a complaint with the FTC and or I suggest file a complaint with both. Okay, it just will help you even more. The FTC and or the CFPB. Okay, you can do these disputes on your own. You definitely can. Or you can hire a credit coach like myself, and I'm going to go ahead and leave my information in the comments below to help you fight for your right to for your credit health. Okay. And I also have DIY stuff that you can use as well. So yeah, so that's it. That is the updates that I wanted to advise everybody on. I am just going to hang out for another few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put my links in the chat box for everybody and also hang on here to see if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns. So I just posted the link to my website. Okay. So rayfinancialservices.com. And I also just posted my link for Smart Credit. Okay. So it's smartcredit.com right there. And then you'll see it. Here we go. I put it here on the main page screen here for you. Okay. And then if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask, I'm going to go ahead and put in my email. Okay. And this email is not for other people to market me, please. It's not for spam. It is for clients or people that want some more information. Okay. Okay. Let me go ahead and throw that up there. So info at rayfinancialservices.com. Okay, you can go ahead and put your questions there. And I'm also going to link my Facebook page. It's a private free group. I do have to approve you to become a member because that's just how I try to keep the integrity of the group. And it's for people that might have questions or concerns about their credit repair, tax issues, what have you. So here we go. It's on the screen. Let me show it here. So it is facebook.com/groups/credit repair and financial services. Okay, and again, I will show you my website here on the screen. And I will just wait one more second to see if there is anything that I can help anybody with. And there's for Smart Credit again. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the last 28 minutes. If you need anything, give me an email. Definitely feel free to comment, like, share, so that way I can reach a lot more people and educate more people on these important concepts. Okay. And you can also like my business Facebook page, which is Ray Financial Services LLC. All right. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful, healthy, safe, and blessed 4th of July. Thanks.